Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Happy Friday, happy Friday. Nukisa here with Nukisa Explains the World. And today we're going to go over a little bit of what Donald Trump said on the White House lawn to the press on his way to the helicopter or Air Force One, I believe. He was getting ready to go to a meeting or something. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
It's very important that the Pope understands. Very, very important. It would be nice not to say it. Iran killed 42,000 people that were totally unarmed. They were protesters. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they did, every country, including Italy, where he's stationed, every single country in the world would be in trouble.
Trump says that every country in the world would be in trouble if Iran had nuclear weapons. And the question that they were asking him was about the Pope. The Pope said, and for some odd reason, he thinks that the Pope thinks Iran should have nukes. And in real actuality, the Pope was just expressing his opinion. So he was responding to them, saying that all this stuff about the Pope thinking that the Pope thinking that Iran, that he thinks the Pope thinks, he thinks that the Pope thinks Iran should have nuclear weapons. And that's not the case. The Pope was just expressing his opinion. Now, the one thing I want to say real fast about being in trouble is all of the world right now not potentially in trouble with the United States having their nukes, the way the president of the United States is acting right now, putting genocides out on countries. I mean, isn't that kind of threatening to the world? Let's go on and see what else he says.
So we're doing very well with respect to that, having to do with the whole situation on Iran. The blockade is amazing. It's holding up very strong, very powerfully. And I think we're making a lot of progress in that. But the Pope has to understand Iran, very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. The world would be in great danger.
Again, the Pope didn't say Iran should have a nuclear weapon or anything. And I'm gonna have a video later on about what the Pope said. But he did not say that. And Donald Trump is addressing it like he said that. And again, we have nukes. Korea has nukes. Actually, Korea was out there practicing their nukes the other day. Other countries have nukes. So, if Iran had nukes or not, but that's another subject. Let's proceed.
Mr. President, would you meet with the Pope to even out your differences? Because Catholics are torn.
I don't think it's necessary.
Mr. President, you spoke with Prime Minister Modi just a couple of days ago. What was the conversation like? What is it that is on the table now?
I had a very good talk with him, and he's a friend of mine from India, and he's doing great. We had a very good conversation.
Every time someone asks Trump about a talk that they had with somebody, he always says, "Oh, I spoke to them and they're doing great. And we had a great conversation." Okay, what did you get from the conversation? Does it help anything? Did you even have the conversation? So let's proceed and see what else Trump says on the White House lawn.
Are you considering extending the ceasefire with Iran?
With who?
With Iran.
We're doing very well, I can tell you. Maybe it'll happen before that. I'm not sure it needs to be extended.
I don't know if you heard they asked, would you extend the peace deal with Iran? And he says that he's not sure. It needs to happen, but he's going to further on talk about we could have an extension. And let me explain something to you. Iran is on the other side, no joke. They have their set stuff. They have things set up. They have a 10-point plan that they want to put in play. They've sat and talked with them for, I believe it was 20 something hours. They didn't come up with anything. At this point in time, I don't believe Trump is talking to no one. I think he's just making stuff up. But I guess there is a ceasefire, and we'll see what happens after that. Anyway, let's continue.
Just so you know, Iran wants to make a deal, and we're dealing very nicely with them. We've got to have no nuclear weapons. If we do, that's a big factor, and they're willing to.
No nuclear weapons. No nuclear weapons. That's what he keeps saying out of his mouth. And I will give him credit. At least he's staying on track. Usually he does not stay on track. Usually he goes this way and that way. But at least he's no nuclear weapons. No nuclear weapons, even though we have them and other people have them. Just because people have them don't mean they're going to use them. And two, a lot of countries are already a threat with them. Let's proceed.
Do things today that they weren't willing to do 2 months ago.
Do you have any news about Ukraine? Do you have any news regarding peace in Ukraine?
Will Hezbollah stick to the ceasefire? Are you confident about that?
I think they will. I think it's going to be, actually it's very exciting because it's 48 years. We're going to be meeting with Bibi Netanyahu, as you know, and the president of Lebanon. And I had a great talk with both of them today. They're going to be having a ceasefire, and that'll include Hezbollah. And I think it could be number 10 for me.
All right, so let's address a few things. First of all, again, I don't know if he spoke with them. Maybe he did speak to these people. And again, all they had were great conversations. Now, I understand we are at war and he cannot actually say a lot of things, but I would rather him just say, I'm at war and I can't express, instead of, oh, I spoke to them and they had great conversations and we had great conversations. And so as just to get up to current to date, as today, 4/17, it's about 12:33 Eastern time. The ceasefire is not really going on that good. We're actually getting in beefs with China because we're blockading, or Trump, I should say, is blockading the Hormuz Strait. Now, what that is doing is that is creating, Iran is saying, okay, you want to play with that, then they're starting to block another strait. So then we'll have two straits blocked. And remember, the United States is doing a blockade, trying to block other oil tankers from going in, but like China wants to get their oil and other countries want to get their oil. And so, I don't know what's getting ready to happen, but that's currently what's going on. So this was yesterday. This that we're going over was yesterday, but currently this is where we are. Let's proceed. See what else he has to say on the lawn.
Do you have any news regarding peace in Ukraine? Do you have any news regarding peace in Ukraine?
Ukraine is moving along. I wish they could get along, frankly. A lot of people are dying in Ukraine. We'll see what happens. There's things happening there. We're focused so much right now in Iran, seeing if we can get.
He's not worried about Ukraine. Him and Putin and has got something going on with that.
That completed.
In my opinion.
I think we're going to be. And I think if you look, the stock market is good. The oil price.
The Dow is 50,000.
Prices are coming down, and it's looking very good that we're going to make a deal with Iran, and it's going to be a good deal. It's going to be a deal with no nuclear weapons.
It looks good. We're going to make a deal with Iran, a deal with no nuclear weapons. The deal he's talking about, I know that they were trying to discuss, was that they didn't want Iran to make any nuclear weapons for 20 years. Iran said, nah, we're not going to do that. Maybe 5. Let's see if we can work around that. So that's where they're at with that. Let's proceed.
When is the next in-person round of negotiations on the war in Iran? When will
They're
that
all
take place?
important. I mean, it's not a question of around. All of them are
When will
important.
the next in-person
Probably,
meeting take
maybe
place?
over the weekend.
Will you send the vice president?
Maybe over
President, will you
there.
send the
Just
vice
so you
president?
understand, the blockade has been incredible. It's held. They're not doing any business. They're unable to do any business because of the blockade. And so the combination of having no Navy, having no Air Force, having no anti-aircraft equipment, they have nothing.
See, now this is the rhetoric that he puts out all the time: having no Navy, having no nothing. But as we go on and look at other social media sites or other news medias not owned by corporate,
Everything is gone.
shooting things down with their navies, and keeping America out. Actually, there's a video showing the Iranian Navy telling the United States Navy to turn around. You're too close, and they turned around. And again, the blockade is not going well. China is getting beefed up and being upset about this at this point in time. And you know, China has always had, in my opinion, that moment of when they decided they wanted to take over. So it's not going as planned. This man always, in my opinion, is just opens his mouth and spews lies. He just opens his mouth and lies come out. It's like he hears something and it goes into his head, computes to the lie section, and pum, a lie comes out of his mouth. Let's see what else he has to say, in my opinion.
Including their leaders. Now they have a new set of leaders, and we find them very reasonable.
Now, the new set of leaders that they have is actually, from what I'm hearing, more harsh than the old set of leaders. And also, what Trump is just overlooking again is that when he started this war, he literally hit schools and killed kids, and they made Lego videos about it. I know, Lego videos, but I tell you what, check them out. They're crazy. But anyway, this man is not talking to. You know who he's talking to? The new regime. His invisible friends. You know, you friends, if you had any of them when you were a kid or not, I don't know, or his teddy bears or something. But he's not talking to Iran. Let's see what else he has to say.
Mr. President, on the 20-year minimum to stop enriching uranium, would you?
Well, we haven't agreed to any. We haven't agreed to any.
To you, sir, if that's the final sticking point.
What we have is we have a statement, very powerful statement, that they will not have beyond 20 years. That
They said 5, so that's where their argument comes into play.
will not have nuclear weapons. That's beyond. There's no 20-year limit. I think that Todd Blanche is doing a very good job, from what I'm seeing. All I can say thus far, I think Todd Blanche is doing a very good job.
Of course, everybody to Donald Trump is doing a very good job.
President, if there's no deal, would you be willing to extend the ceasefire, or will the fighting resume, Mr. President?
I would say the fighting. If there's no deal, fighting resumes.
Okay.
If there's no deal, fighting resumes. I believe that's how they feel as well. I'm not sure.
And then on gas prices, how much longer will Americans continue
Oh, listen to this.
to see these high gas prices?
Well, they're not very high. If you look at what they were supposed to be in
Well, gas prices are not very high, and listen to the reason.
order to get rid of a nuclear weapon, with the danger that entails. So the gas prices have come down very much.
The gas isn't high if you put in the fact that you're getting rid of a nuclear weapon. First of all, what nuclear weapon? Secondly, rhetoric, bullish. Come on. Who believes this nonsense?
The last 3-4 days. I know, that's what ABC says. But the fact is that if you look at the stock markets up,
The Dow is 50,000.
everything's doing really well. And the big thing we have to do is we have to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, because if they do, you want to talk about problems, you'd have problems.
I understand what he's saying at this point in time. If they had a nuclear weapon right now, they probably would want to try to hit him with it. But one thing I would say is, I don't see, the one thing that we are missing here real fast, I'm going to jump in here, right, is morals do come into play. And when you bomb a school of 100 and something kids die, um, that comes into play. But that is not going to go away. That's in their mind. Secondly, I don't believe we'll have to worry about them hitting civilians. That's how Trump, in my opinion, thinks, not a lot of the leaders. All right, let's go.
Very important is that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, and they've agreed to that. Iran's agreed to that.
I guess that's the invisible crew.
And they've agreed to it very powerfully. They've agreed to give us back the nuclear dust that's way underground because of the attack we made with the B-2 bomber. So we...
Oh, they agreed to give us back the nuclear dust from the attack we made. Oh, okay, Trump, you just blew up our uranium, and we're going to give you the nuclear dust. Here it is. Here's your nuclear dust. Like, seriously, what is this guy talking about? The president of the United States is what I'm trying to make this clear, right? This isn't just some regular person. He's actually a regular person, but he's portraying the president of the United States, and these are the answers that we're getting. Ladies and gentlemen, what the heck is going on? Anyway, let's proceed.
We have a lot of agreement with Iran, and I think something's going to happen very positive. Very complicated subject. I don't think we're waiting. I think we're moving very fast. It could happen pretty quickly. Say it.
How long you could sustain the blockade on the Strait of Hormuz?
The what?
How long you could keep the blockade on the Strait of Hormuz?
We're doing very well with the blockade. It's very routine for us. The Navy is incredible. And I think the blockade is doing very well. It's no ship is even thinking about entering. No ship is going past our Navy.
Yeah. So are you guys seeing a rhythm here? So he's walked a few places, a few steps closer and closer. And since he's not giving any type of answers whatsoever, just spewing nothing out of his mouth, it's only still 3 questions going around. That's it. It's still the same 3 questions over and over and over and over. Watch, check it out.
Why are you fighting with the Pope? And are you worried it's upsetting your
No, I don't.
Back to the Pope.
I have to do what's right. The Pope has to understand that. Very simple. I have nothing against the Pope. His brother's MAGA all the way. I like his brother, Louis. I'm not fighting with him. The Pope made a statement. He says Iran can have a nuclear weapon. I say Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And
The Pope did not say Iran can have. The Pope did not say Iran can have a nuclear weapon. He did make an opinion, and we will go over that later on in another discussion. But he did not specifically say that.
if the Pope looked at the 42,000 people that were killed over the last 2 or 3 months as a protester with no weapons, no nothing, I mean, you take a look at that. So I can disagree.
And he probably also saw the picture of you dictating him, talking about how weak he was, and the children that you genocide.
The Pope, I have a right to disagree. I have a right to disagree with the Pope.
What do you say?
And he has a right to an opinion.
People who see that, who see your criticism of the
Look, nothing, I have no disagreement with the fact the Pope can say what he wants, and I want him to say what he wants, but I can disagree. I think that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they do, the whole world...
Here we go. He thinks that Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, and why? The whole world will be in trouble.
The world would be at jeopardy. The Middle East will be blown up, and the whole world will be at jeopardy. We're very close to making a deal. That'll be a great thing. The Pope has to understand, Iran has killed more than 42,000 people over the last few months. Think of it, protesters.
How many people have you, in my opinion, killed? Maybe not directly, but...
Without guns, without anything. They were totally unarmed protesters. The Pope has to understand that. This is the real world. It's a nasty world. But as far as the Pope and saying what he wants, he can do that. Now, I know the Pope's brother. He is a big MAGA person. He's got MAGA all over his house. His name is Louis. He's actually a great guy. And I'm sure the Pope is a great guy. I haven't met him. But I disagree with the Pope. If the Pope would allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon, you can't do that.
So the Pope runs Iran, huh? The Pope would allow Iran to have nuclear rhetoric, BS. The President of the United States. This is what some people voted in. All right, a few more. We'll listen to a little bit more, and then I'll let you go on about your day, and we will see you again on the media.
That are saying that the Pope is
President
back.
Trump,
Anthony Mershak from MTV.
No, not really.
Anthony Mershak from MTV Lebanon.
What?
Anthony Mershak from MTV Lebanon. I would like to ask you regarding congratulations for the 10th war.
Yeah, it's very exciting. With Lebanon, it's very exciting. I think we're going to have a deal. We're going to have a meeting, first time in 44 years. And Lebanon will be meeting with Israel, and they're probably going to do it at the White House.
When do you think, President, when do you think they will?
Over the next week or two.
Or the next week, and do you think this agreement can reach?
I do. I think
without
we're gonna,
Hezbollah
I
agreeing
think
to
we
the
will have an
government?
agreement between Lebanon, and they're going to take care of Hezbollah. But they're going to be working on Hezbollah right now. But we'll have an agreement between Israel, very importantly, and Lebanon.
Will you support our Lebanese army as well in
I
order
would,
to
I would,
Hezbollah?
yeah.
Iran's going to
Iran's going to execute. Has Hezbollah agreed to this ceasefire? I mean, how do you even?
They're all agreeing. It's a very nice little package for about a week, and we're not going to have lots of bombs dropping, and we're going to see if we can make peace between Lebanon and Israel.
And the
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Donald J. Trump on the White House lawn answering questions to the press or opening his mouth, in my opinion, and just nonsense coming out. In my opinion, Donald Trump is one of the worst, or probably the worst president in the United States. He definitely should be impeached. The 25th Amendment should have already been invoked. And as a citizen, I don't understand how come this isn't happening. So if you want to see more like this, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And I will see you next time. Peace. I'm Nukisa.